Good to see you, Nicky. Shane, how are you? Kane, good to see you all. Now, the last time we met, there were 5 of you, but only about a week afterwards, Brian announced that he was leaving. And I remember talking to you about your impending tour. How did it feel when you realised there'd only be 4 of you doing it?
It was a bit of a shock, I think, John, to be honest. You know, it was, like you were kind of as probably as shocked as we were. I think that was obviously a very difficult time for us that week, I think. But, you know, the more we got into it, I think the tour was the best thing that could have happened to us. The fact that it was, you know, a 4-month tour was sold out. We had a lot of fans waiting for us and stuff. And it made us kind of just get into it straight away. We had no time to kind of sit around and mope about it. We had like 19 days, I think, to our first gig in the Odyssey. And it was like, right, let's get into it. We got a point to prove now. We've no time to kind of reminisce on it. And it's probably the best thing that happened to us, to be honest, when we had to go on tour. It's easy. It made it easier to deal with, but now I think it's obviously we've got used to the fact of it or whatever.
And did any of you ever think that it was the end of Westlife at that time?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think that's the reason why we're still here today. I think we probably felt it wasn't the right time for us to end, you know. I mean, if it was the right time for us to end, you know, it was the easy way out for us to sit down and say, okay, lads, you know, let's be realistic. If we don't want this anymore, let's let it go. And we all still wanted it. The 4 of us wanted it more than ever. I think it was such a huge thing to us to make sure that people knew that we weren't letting it go. And you know, that's why, as Shane said, the tour was a great opportunity for us to get out there and to prove to the fans that, you know, Westlife were going to be no different. We were going to be better, stronger. And to be honest with you, that's how we feel. We feel stronger as a band. You know, I think everything that happened to us in the last year has brought us a lot closer together, and you know, I think we're really happy with this album. We're really happy to be promoting this album, and you know, we're really enjoying it again. It's like a brand new lease of life to us. It's really
everything
good.
happens for a reason.
Exactly,
it?
exactly.
But were you apprehensive that first night in Belfast?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, there were just 4 of us.
Yeah, we were just kind of wondering if everyone was going to accept us as a 4-piece. You know what I mean? And we were kind of thinking, is everyone going to think it's the same old story of, you know, like the Spice Girls, Jerry left, that's that with them, Take That, Robbie left, they were finished soon after there as well, you know. We knew that wasn't the case, but, you know, obviously getting that across to the public was, you know, a whole different story or whatever. And if they start believing it, then, you know what I mean, they actually kind of almost make it real, if you know what I mean, in the end, because they kind of just gets this vibe around that Westlife aren't really around anymore, if you know what I mean. So we wanted to convince them, and I think we've done a fairly decent job on the first night up in the Odyssey, because we got kind of good reviews, and all the reviews were positive, and they were saying, you know, it's obvious that Westlife are still going to be here for a while.
How much more were you relying on each other that night?
Oh,
more so than normal?
I don't think we were ever as much kind of a team and a unit as that one night, because we knew that like the 4 people here had to literally put on, you know, an amazing show and basically not save our career, because we knew we were going on, but to just kind of convince the public that we were, if you know what I mean. Because a lot of bands say, oh yeah, we're not splitting up, and then the next thing you know, they're gone or whatever. So we wanted to kind of show them that, even though we're saying that, and loads of other bands have said it, you know, it's not the case this time. You know, we're different. You know, we're Westlife and we're not all those other bands. So. Good
for you. And Absolutely. This album that you're promoting, an album of swing songs, whose idea was that?
Mine, actually.
Was it really? If it's a good idea, it Shane's. Is that the way it works?
Well, whoever gets in first. Yeah. But no, it was kind of it was a bit of everybody's, to be honest. It was what happened was Brian left on a Tuesday, and it was Friday night. We were on the Late Late Show. And it was a really good interview. Really kind of, we looked well and we kind of sang well, and it was a great vibe, if you like. And we came off, and Louis said it to us, and you know, a few of our parents said to us, "You look like a young rap hacker. There was something different about you tonight." And even though it didn't kind of snowball from there, it was definitely the seed was planted, if you like. So we went away, and there was one thing always in our head at some point in our career to do a themed album. And then we kind of went, well, lads, you know, although Robbie's done a swing album 2 years ago, it's certainly something to think about. So we went away and we thought about it, and the Duets album was the first thing we were supposed to do, and then we thought it's a bit of a nightmare to promote it, to tour it and all that type of stuff. So we got in, we sat with Simon Cowell, Louis Walsh. Simon loves that era of music. We like the era, like love it, but love it even more now. Louis loves it as well. There was a few people apprehensive, but once we get into the studio...
Who, like, go on, name names.
Well, Kane was
Kane, all right, okay.
He was a bit worried, but as soon as we got the songs in the
Somebody
studio...
has to be.
Well, exactly, yes.
Kane's our worrier. Kane's our worrier. He'd make sure everything's all right.
You know, it's just... I think everybody... It's always good to bring up the bad points as well as the good points before we get into a new project like that,
you know? Devil's advocate. It's
exactly.
Kane's famous saying is, I'm just being devil's advocate,
lads, relax.
And had you heard a lot of that music at home with any of your parents, or would your dad have been playing those sort of songs?
My dad sings a lot of it and stuff like that. So it was, I loved it, and I have a few Frank Sinatra collections, and it was my granddad's favourite music as well. So it was in the family for definite. So to be doing it now, I mean, it's incredible, and not just to be doing it, but when we got into the studio and recording it, you know, and
was that very different compared to what you'd done?
Well, it was, because first of all, there's no Westlife for the big ballads and, you know, big choruses and stuff, but that wasn't there. You know, it was all individuals singing and getting into the swing of things, and we really had a lot of fun. Some of the outtakes we have are incredible. Like, you know, some of the lads sound a bit more like Elvis than Frank Sinatra.
Including yourself?
Including some of the lads.
Hands up, some of the lads, yeah.
That was great, though.
The Sligo boys, yeah.
Now, Las Vegas, you were there for the World Music Awards as well, and you sang this style of music.
That's right.
Is this the way into America, do you think?
Who knows? I mean, it's a very difficult question, to be honest. I mean, we'd like to get into America anyway, you know. If this is our way in, then great, happy days. I don't know, I think America is a very, very tough industry, and, you know, instead of talking all industry business and all that type of stuff, you know, I think they look at 4 guys and they say, oh, that's a boy band, you know, I don't know if we're going to have that, regardless what type of music. But, you know, Simon Cowell seems to think it will. So, and Louis seems to think it's a good kind of chance. But, you know, we're just happy to be doing what we're doing on this side of the world. We're not trying to concentrate on that. I think our message at the minute is that, you know, Westlife are here, we're stronger than ever. We've got this amazing album that we absolutely adore, you know, with this style of music. We're really enjoying ourselves. We're looking forward to getting back in tour next year, and we're not concentrating on America, you know, we're concentrating on this side of the world.
And that's from the Devil's Advocate.
That's it.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
The devil, I don't know about the Advocate.
The tour, when you're touring, will it all be a Rat Pack type tour, or will that be part of the show? Or
No, that's one message we want to get across clearly. It's not going to be a Rat Pack tour at all. It's going to be, you know, basically a normal Westlife show with all of our hit songs or whatever, and there will be a Rat Pack section. You know, obviously, because this is the most current thing. Oh yeah, of course. Any excuse, like, you know. Yeah, but we'll have like, you know, we have 5 sections in our show. Each of them are how long? Like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Yeah.
So you know, we'll have one section which will be totally Rat Pack or whatever, just because this is the current thing or whatever with us. But the rest of it will all be your Flying Without Wings and Where the Roads and whatever.
Your Westlife hits.
It's good, actually. We're starting a tour again in Belfast.
Yes.
Which I think, you know, it was one of those decisions when we made it. Every other year had been somewhere different. And I think, obviously, with everything that happened last year, you know, just the reaction, you know, it was comforting to know that, you know, we had a Belfast crowd to go out to, which is, you know, I know a lot of people mightn't get to tour around the world, but when you know, when you have that crowd, it is special. So it's starting off in Belfast again, and what's the day, February?
1st and 2nd.
1st and 2nd.
February,
We're delighted with that.
Yeah.
Well, 1st and 2nd are sold out. Now we're on the 3rd and 4th.
There you go.
Oh.
There's news. Exclusive.
That's exclusive. I didn't know that.
That's
You're doing the
exclusive
3rd and
to the
4th as well?
Yeah.
Well, we'd like to do the 5th and 6th if we can. We'll have to wait and see how it goes.
And I want to talk to you briefly about Brian. I'm not interested in his private life because that's his private affair. But were you guys surprised at how quickly he started to record the material?
Yeah,
I think we were, yeah, obviously.
Shock, definitely was.
I mean, he told us obviously that, you know, he wanted to go home and spend time with his family and see the kids and stuff like that, and which we totally understood. But, you know, we know what Brian's character is like as well. You know, he's not one to sit around for too long, so we kind of knew that he was going to get up off his feet at some time. But you know, he did it quite fast. But he's happy, and that's the most important thing, to be honest. And the fact that he's happy, that's all that we care about. You know, we don't care about the fact that, you know, back then he thought that, and then maybe a month later he's decided, well, you know what, I'll go in and write a few songs and see how it goes. But he's happy, and, you know, we're happy for him that he's happy. That's the most important.
I actually asked him that question the other night. We were out in Norway with him. We were at the Nordic Music Awards, and I said to him, I said, well, look, I said, you told us that you wanted to leave to spend time with your family, and all of a sudden you had an album in the bag. Well, what happened? Like, and he made a very good point back, because he said, to be honest with you, Nick, he said, I took a few weeks off. I realised, he said, I always knew I was going to do something eventually. I want to do something eventually. He said, but, you know, when it kind of got home, and, you know, I kind of thought to myself, I want to do this. He said, now he can make a decision because he's on his own. If he's got a week in Germany or promotion and he feels he wants to go home and see his kids, or, you know, Kerry at the time, he can do that now, because he can just throw it all there and say, listen, I'm cancelling this week, and go home. Where he said when he was in Westlife, it was different, because he'd 4 other people to think about. And,
that's right,
and I thought that was a, you know, very true comment. I mean, it might, you know, that might hamper him in future if he's going to keep cancelling promotion and stuff, but it's a true thing to say. He can't just put it there if he wants it.
And when you were living in Sligo, well, I mean, full-time rather than all the touring that you do, did you come to Enniskillen a lot? Did you have any experience in
Yeah,
Enniskillen?
absolutely.
Shopping, yeah.
Shopping.
Great for shopping. I got a lovely tennis racket here many years ago.
Do you still have it?
No, I smashed it on the court when I lost it. I wasn't a very good loser sometimes.
Me and my mum used to come up to the big shopping centre here. And my sister used to go to college in Belfast, so she used to get the bus to here. We'd come up, do the shopping for the afternoon, pick her up on the Friday evening, and then we'd go. So it was really good.
Brilliant. Right, some tabloid tittle-tattle just before we finish. Is this 2.5-foot marrow the most ridiculous thing you've ever signed?
Absolutely, and it got 830
There's a lot of money on the eBay.
quid sterling or something like that.
Huge amount of money on eBay.
It's like a big vegetable, like a huge vegetable. And it was sold on eBay for like 800
Really
quid or
weird,
something.
really odd. But
And when someone asked you to sign a marrow now,
oddest
what
thing
did
we've
you?
ever-
What did
we,
you?
we
know what
laughed
it
at it.
was.
I mean, if you see the size of it, it's probably just roughly the size of this table, a little bit smaller. It's like huge.
And you could barely make out our signatures because it was so dark
all
green.
green,
Like, you know,
yeah.
it was,
And somebody
funny.
bought it
Anyway,
but it was for
somebody
charity,
bought
so
it.
somebody just paid the money, obviously, anyway.
Great. Kane, apparently you're a huge Metallica fan. Apparently the chap from X Factor, Tabby, says that. Is that right?
Yeah, very true, yeah.
Okay. Mark, your eyesight's in danger because of too many photo flash bulbs.
I've definitely been told not to kind of...
Really?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I've always had kind of not really bad eyesight, but I've had kind of not the best, if you know what I mean. And I got that laser surgery thing done on it, and it definitely helped. But the doctor said, the eye doctor, that you know, it's obviously not a good thing to have massively powerful flashes in your face like all day, every day for like weeks on end, if you know what I mean. So every now and again I have to, you know, stick a pair of sunglasses on, or like just say that's enough, if you know what I mean, because obviously eyesight's not something you want to kind of lose,
Gosh,
you know.
yeah, not to be messed with.
So
And
it is true.
you're considering covering YMCA, is that true?
Extremely.
You just stuck that one in
That's
for
another
now.
No, I can see the four of you doing all that. You know, whatever. I can't even remember the
Well, do
joints.
you know what that probably came from, actually?
GAY gig, was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, we do a gay club in London, like a GAY gig every year, and it's great fun, like, you know. And the man that owns the club keeps asking us, will you do GAY or do YMCA for us? So we're thinking about it. It's taken us 4 years, but we're still thinking about it. We might do it some night for the crack, for the laugh. Like.
And finally, I read about this woman called Beth. Beth Evans from Swansea, who has Westlife tattooed on her back.
She now asks us to meet her and sign her back so she can get that tattoo.
She says she's the only woman in the world who goes to bed with Westlife every night.
She's lying.
Well, there you go. He's just playing devil's advocate.
There you go.
Lads, thank you very much for the moment. Thank you to
John.
Westlife.
Excellent stuff.
Now, normally.